Guys, it's John. I wanted to run through this week's picks. Didn't get to get the Falcons in there. I mean, you could believe me or not, but it is one I would have gone with the Falcons on. Again, it's just weird. I don't see how that spread made any sense. But anyway, we didn't pick that one. I do have a lot of conviction in a lot of tomorrow's games. I think we were like 11-6 last week, so not bad. We missed the Jets Vikings game. Jets lost and we had them covering. We had the Vikings, we had the Packers winning and covering. We did get I don't know if they even qualify as upsets. We actually missed the Falcons. I had them covering 2.5, so they missed that by half. But we got the over on that. Same thing with the Bucks Eagles. Bucks won. Panthers didn't cover. I thought they would. They might just be one of those teams this year. Nor did the Texans. But we finished off pretty strong. We got the Colts winning. We got the Bears covering. We had the Commanders winning. Niners covering. Raiders covering. Chiefs, I think, pushed. I think they were 7 points. If you got them at anything under that, then you won. Missed the Bills. It did go over under. It was at 46.5. And then didn't really go into Monday. I had gone into how the Titans made sense to me. But I also thought the Seahawks covering made sense. So yeah, something like 11-5 with the overs, 11-6, I think. So we've been doing pretty good. And this week so the first game off the bat I have a lot of conviction in. I think in London, there's no way that they don't let the Jets win this game. Aaron Rodgers is definitely the biggest draw of all the guys there. So I also think, again, they're going to keep the NFC North pretty close. To me, there's nothing indicating that the Vikings will win this game. And again, the spread doesn't make that much sense, in my opinion, so got the Jets winning outright. Ravens Bengals. It's a close one. I think honestly though, if they want to keep it a pretty interesting season and not just pick just have certain teams pretty much eliminated early on, I think the Bengals do have to win this game. I also think after the Ravens beat down the Bills, this spread's a little weird. I get they're in Cincinnati, but yeah, I think the Bengals are going to win this one. Colts Jaguars. I went back and forth on this one because I'm thinking, well, Trevor plays in London next week, so they're not going to have him 0-5 going into. But I'm actually thinking he is. I think he's going to lose, and his first win's going to be in London. Again, they're moving to London, so to me that would actually make some sense. So I have the Colts beating them straight up. Dolphins Patriots. I got the Dolphins winning. It's one where I think neither team is going to be anything good this year at all. They're both basically rebuilding. And more people might be on the Dolphins, but I'm just still going to go with the Dolphins. I think the Patriots might get, a few wins this year, whereas they might keep Dolphins at least in the race, because then them and the Jets, when they have matches down the line, it'll have some stakes to it. Browns Commanders is another interesting one. It's funny, someone brought up Commanders Chiefs to me as a Super Bowl pick, which is interesting because obviously Commander in Chief, but I think we're going to get something different. I like Cowboys Chiefs, and I'm going to do a video on the whole playoffs probably. I'll probably just do it Monday when I do my Monday picks, but anyway, or even tomorrow I can get it in there for Monday. I think the Commanders are going to win. More people might be on them, but I just think there's going to be a few teams that come out of nowhere this year, and to me the Commanders make sense to be one of those teams. Bills Texans. This one makes no sense, like the line at least. I get they're kind of, you can say that they're pretty evenly matched, but I just think based off of a few factors, I would think the Texans would be laying a few more points, and it just seems a little off to me. But I think the Texans are actually going to win, just because I think they want to establish CJ pretty well. So getting a win over Josh Allen would help, and again, it would kind of keep the AFC East close. It would keep both divisions pretty close. The NFC South, the Texans are heavy favorites. So it's really going to be more a matter, in my opinion, of the wild card in that division. Whereas the AFC East, they can have the Jets, Bills, and even the Dolphins kind of close. Panthers, Bears. This one, again, a lot of times I just assume it's a trap, but I do think in this case that it makes sense for the Bears to cover. I think CJ has to have at least one game where or not CJ, sorry. Caleb has to have at least one game where he just looks really good. And I think this might be that game. I thought last week might be the game, and they won by 6 because of the defense. So on a really pathetic Panthers team, a game that's not going to have a lot of money. Bears haven't looked great, so people might take the Panthers anyway. So I like the Bears here for the cover. Raiders Broncos. This one's just two terrible teams, but I do like the Broncos to cover. I think a few more people might be on the Raiders, and just because the Broncos have like no names, but it's a way to establish Bo Nix, and obviously you got the Devontae trade thing going on. But yeah, I think the Broncos are going to get the cover here. And then for the Cardinals Niners, I like the Cardinals to win outright. They were showing a thing on ESPN, and it just seemed like a reach. It was like the Niners are 4-1 in the last 5 games against the Cardinals, and it's like it's not that impressive. If you think about it, like there's way bigger streaks out there, and you're picking a team that just went to the Super Bowl versus a basement dweller, and they didn't even use like 3 full seasons because then it would have been a 4-2 record, which is again not impressive. So they kind of forced us like, oh, they won 4 of the last 5 against the Cardinals, but you can make that argument for so many teams. It almost seems like they want the casual fan just to look and be like, oh, they're going to pound the Cardinals. So I think the Cardinals are going to win, and it shakes things up a bit. I like the Rams to win just because I think it keeps everything nice and tight in the NFC. Also, some of these games I have picked spreads, meaning teams that suck against the spread I've taken the win, or cover I should say. Teams that are really good against the spread I'm fading. It's actually a very proven theory that I've done for years now. But anyway, I think the Rams are going to go ahead and win this game outright. The cover might be the smart play, but I'm just going to go with the win. I do like the Seahawks on this one for the cover. 7 points is pretty heavy for, even though it's just the Giants. Still, I think for a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year, to be laying 7 points is kind of heavy. So I like the Seahawks for that cover. And then I had to think long and hard about the Steelers, Cowboys. I just basically went with what I believe is a trap. Again, I get they're at home. They have a better record. I just don't know how many people in what's very close to being a pick'em would actually argue that the Steelers are a better team than the Cowboys. I think way more people are going to, A, take the Cowboys for the value. You're getting plus 130. And B, just take them because I think most people believe the Cowboys are a better team than the Steelers. I mean, if you even, like, say, you're casual fans, and then your hardcore football fans have to be looking at how Fields is a game manager who hasn't really done anything crazy, and he's going up against Micah Parsons and Lawrence and a lot of good defenders, Diggs. So, yeah, from like any perspective, I feel like money is going to be very heavy on Dallas for this game. So I think it makes a lot of sense for the Steelers to cover. And then they have that narrative where the Steelers are, 4-1, the Cowboys are losing record. I think, again, I think the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. So it makes even more sense for me that they start off pretty pathetic. I've actually talked to a few people about this, just people that I ran into at work or just people that I talk to, friends. And whether they think it's scripted or not, nobody believes the kid. They just laugh at me when I bring up the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. So I feel like that narrative has already been established, and now this would be the perfect year to put them in there. And not for nothing, but we did just see the Mavericks go to the finals. We see things like that a lot in the across sports. At least I notice them. So yeah, that's all my picks for this week. And like I said, I do want to get a playoff video out. Basically, I mean, the divisions are going to be very close for a while, but I want to get it out before it's obviously like so late it's obvious. But I'll probably do that maybe if not tomorrow or Monday. But again, I think after the Bengals win, we're going to have that division nice and knotted up outside of the Steelers. The NFC North's going to be pretty close no matter what. Some's going to be pretty obvious. I think some have been obvious from the beginning. We know the NFC South, it's going to be a 3-way race, and one team's going to win it, and nobody's getting a wild card out of there. So there's not that much to go into. I don't think the playoff picture is going to change that drastically from last year. I do think a few teams that aren't that good are going to get booted out in favor of others. Like, I don't think even though the record's good, I probably don't have the Steelers making the playoffs. I think they'll probably be swapped out for like a team like the Jets. But like I said, there's a lot of, and you got the Dolphins or another one. So yeah, there's a few teams that I think won't make it that made it last year. But at the same time, I also think that it's going to be relatively similar to as far as what we get from the Chiefs and our Niners a lot of the Lions, the major teams. So I'll go into all that. I just figured for now I'd get all of our picks out for tomorrow. And yeah, good week last week. I think we'll have a good week this week. So take care and happy earnings.